Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today I have a huge Vlogmas haul for you guys. A big ass book haul to kick off the first week of Vlogmas. I am so excited to be filming so much for you guys. I've hauled quite a few books over the past few weeks and I'm ready to show you. But before we get into the haul, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. Y'all know that I love working with Skillshare. I've worked with them a ton in the past. Here is a sneak peek of their website and a little bit about the brand.
Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity, learn new skills, or invest in themselves for personal growth. Have something specific you're trying to learn? Skillshare is the perfect place to start. From photography, illustration, to graphic design, freelancing, and even more, Skillshare has a ton of classes that will match all of your goals and interests. Here you can see that I bookmarked a ton of classes on marketing. My favorite class that I've been taking lately is Marketing for Therapists and Coaches, How to Find Clients by Giorgio Aprile. And honestly, it is so nice to just get a master class with all of the information right there instead of having to go to so many different avenues. And it's a pretty quick course as well.
Skillshare genuinely helped me so much when I was starting my business and I had no idea what to do going into it. It would also be a great gift for the holidays. You can gift a membership with my link down below. And the first 1,000 people to click on that link will get a free month of Skillshare. So sign up someone who is maybe starting a business, wanting to learn a new skill, and gift them instructions, classes, whatever it may be to hone their passion. I think that's a great gift. I always love experiences more than tangible things, so I would highly recommend that. Don't forget to check them out down below. Thank you so much again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's go ahead and get into the book haul. So I'm gonna kick it off with all of the wintry books that I have because we love a theme. So I did buy quite a few winter Christmas vibe horror and thriller books in anticipation for my December reading during Vlogmas. So most of these books I will be reading during this month. First up, we have Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. This is a horror book. As you can tell by the cover, it's super snowy and also super bloody. This is about a couple who is going to a cabin for a romantic getaway and they are stalked by some creature in the woods. This has a few more layers. It's not just like a fun creature feature. I've heard that the relationship in this book is abusive, so trigger warnings for that, and of course it's horror, so trigger warnings for a lot more as well. I also have Near the Bone by Christina Henry. I'm so excited to read from her. I know a lot of y'all have been wanting my thoughts on her work, and this is a very beloved book in the horror community, so I'm excited to give it a try. This is very similar to the plot of Stolen Tongues, so it'll be cool to compare. A couple is living out in the remote wilderness and the girl discovers a mutilated body of a fox in the woods, which tells them that there's something out there, whether it be creature or human, that is killing things, and it starts to stalk them. Next up, we have The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. This is yet another snowy horror book. I believe that I heard Gabby Reed's talking about this last year, and she really loves Jennifer McMahon in general. I've never tried her out. I was asking my patrons, do y'all think I would like her? And they all overwhelmingly said, Haley, yes, try her out. So that is what I'm gonna do this month. This has a dual timeline. We're following one timeline in 1908 with the mysterious death of Sarah Harrison Shea, who was found dead in the field behind her house months after the tragic death of her daughter. We're also following in present day 19-year-old Ruthie, who lives in Sarah's old farmhouse with her mother Alice and young sister. So I guess this timeline is going to somehow relate to the past and the woman who died in the house that they are living in. The next one might not really be true winter horror, but I don't know, something about the vibes is just giving that to me, and that is Crossroads by Laurel Hightower. I read and absolutely love to die for Laurel Hightower's other novella, which was called Below. Love it, love it. If you are a fan of Mothman, that kind of little story, you will be obsessed with that one as well. So it really made me want to check out Crossroads. This is grief horror, and it follows a mother. Her son died in a tragic car crash, and she starts seeing his ghost. Something about the vibes that I've heard about this book, that it's just like creepy and haunting, that feels like winter to me. I don't know, I can't explain it, but I do want to read this book in December. And the last kind of winter themed book that I have to share with you is The Shuddering by Anya Alborn. This is probably my most anticipated winter horror because it is a snowy slasher, and I just love that shit. Every movie that I'm going to be watching this month is going to be like a wintertime snowy slasher. I freaking love it. It's basically all of these people gathered at a secluded cabin that are getting picked off one by one by one, and it's a big, bloody, delicious mess. Now we're just gonna jump into all of the other books that I've collected, of which there are a lot. So pause me, get a snack, settle in, let's go. The first book that I have here is quite a chunk, especially for a paperback thriller, and this is We Lie Here by Rachel Housel Hall. I have tried out this author in the past, and I just really did not connect to her writing. I read an Agatha Christie, and then there were none retelling by her, and I think that structure just like doesn't work for me because I really didn't like it. But I do want to give her another chance because I've heard good things about her writing. And this is kind of like a, not really Knives Out, but blackmail inheritance family drama kind of situation. All these people are coming together in this family to celebrate our main character's parents' 20th anniversary. And everyone who's going to the party gets this text before they arrive that says, "I have information that will change your life." The next day, everyone's freaking out, and in the midst of it, somebody turns up dead floating in the lake, and all the people are getting picked off. There's high stakes, there's blackmail, there's all of that, family secrets coming to light. Sounds really good. It's really long, but I'm willing to give her another try. I also have Human Remains by Elizabeth Haynes. This one sounds really dark. It's a thriller, and we're following a police analyst who discovers her neighbor's decomposing body in the house next door, and she's appalled to think that no one, including herself, noticed the woman's absence from the neighborhood. She sets out to investigate despite her colleagues' lack of interest in the case, and discovers that such cases are frighteningly common in her hometown. Is there more to it? Taking a break from the creepy stuff, I do have a couple romances, which I've barely read any romance this year, so I don't know why I keep buying them, but I do have some good old Coho. I know she's controversial. I've really hated a lot of her work. I've really loved a lot of her work, so what you gonna do? I did buy It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I love, love, love It Ends With Us. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that book is a thriller. I read It Ends With Us as if it was a thriller. It was a horrible, traumatizing, dark, dark, dark situation. In the book, it is not a romance, but I did love for what I thought it was. And so I really want to read the prequel about Lily and Atlas. I also picked up Maybe Not because I was planning on reading Maybe Sunday either in December or the next few months at the beginning of 2023. And I know that if there's a book that has a series or a prequel or a sequel or whatever, I need it at the ready, or else I will never continue. Never. I'm not a series reader, okay? I'm gonna need the next one on deck, or I'm just not gonna read it. So I believe this is like a continuation of Maybe Sunday. It's just a little novella that kind of continues the story. I also have After I Do by TJR, Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am a hoe for all of her romances. I fucking love them. The emotion. Like, if you want to be on your sad girl shit, Miss TJR, she got you. And this is about a married couple. Love, love, love romances about already established couples. I think it's so fun to watch a couple who already has established history fall in love again. So this couple has been having trouble in their marriage and they decide to take a year off. And the rules in the year off are that they cannot contact each other at all. They just have to live a year separately. And hopefully the idea is that they come together and miss each other at the end and it improves their marriage. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know, because Miss TJR does bring the drama and I'm ready for it. Next up, I have a recommendation from my friend Matt. We actually met in person this past month and it was so great to see him. And as I was sitting there, he was telling me about books and I was literally just adding them to cart. Like, I literally bought 3 books as we were sitting at the bar having a chat. And this is the first of them. It is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. This is about a woman who is an atheist and she's also a lesbian, but she somehow gets hired to work the reception desk in a church. Not an ideal place for an atheist lesbian. Not safe, doesn't feel good. I'm already having some kind of trauma reaction to that. But it's kind of like a darkly funny book about our main character's journey, thinking about death in a different way. And Matt had a lot of great things to say about it. This is one of his favorites of the year, so I'm super excited to get into it. I also picked up the 22 Murders of Madison May by Max Berry. And this feels like it's gonna be a 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle-esque kind of book. And I love that shit that like plays with time. So this sounds right up my alley. So we're following 2 timelines. What happened to Madison May when she is visited by a man who claims to be her soulmate from another dimension, like a parallel life? And we're also following the investigator that's trying to figure out what happened to her, how she disappeared, and she's kind of like doing the Evelyn Hardcastle thing where you're living the murder over and over and over as she's trying to investigate it. I love the parallel universe thing. I love messing with time. I'm not really a fantasy sci-fi reader, but for some reason, that trope just gets me good. Jumping back into horror and thrillers, I have We Spread by Ian Reid. Heard great things about this one from Megan and from Gabby as well. And honestly, I don't even know what this book is about. Okay, Penny has lived in the same apartment for decades, surrounded by artifacts and keepsakes of her long life. She's resigned to the mundane rituals of old age until things start to slip. Okay, so she ends up in a long-term care residence. She's taken out of her home. As the days start to blur together, there's a growing sense of unrest and distrust as she loses her grip on the passage of time and her place in the world. It sounds like horror, just like about getting old and fading into obscurity, which as an influencer is like absolutely terrifying. I also picked up the new B.A. Paris. This is a British thriller called The Prisoner. It's about our main character who is kidnapped and held prisoner in this room, but little does the kidnapper know they might have saved her from an even worse situation that was her life. And we're trying to figure out, is she truly safe here? Is being with this kidnapper, being the prisoner, better than the abusive life that she had before with her husband? This sounds like such a good premise. A B.A. Paris hasn't hit for me in a while, and I'm hoping this is going to be the one. Next up, I picked up Rivals, which is the 3rd book in the American Royals trilogy, and I actually got a signed copy. So cool. I am not a YA reader, but for some reason, the series is just so addicting. I love the drama, so here we are. 3rd edition, I'm ready. I also ended up picking up Who is Maud Dixon by Alexandra Andrews. This one got spoiled for me initially when it came out, but I was thinking about it the other day and I realized that I forgot the spoiler. So I can read it with a fresh mind. And I'm not going to read anything about the synopsis because the biggest thing people say is don't read the synopsis is a spoiler. So I'm not going to read that. From what I do remember, it's about an author who has a pen name and they die or go missing or something. So somebody else has to take over, but they're trying to figure out who the real Maud Dixon is. I don't know. It's something like that. It's book in a book. It's about writers. I love reading that shit. So I'm hoping I'm gonna enjoy it. From Book of the Month as an add-on, I picked up Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. This is an author who is based out of Austin, and she writes her romances taking place in Austin, Texas. I live in Austin, Texas. It sounds like that is made for me. I love the city that I live in, so I'm excited to read more books set here. It's about a college dropout who does not have a lot going for him, and he meets pop juggernaut Leanna Smart, who has enough social media followers to populate whole continents. So they're like seemingly not a good match, but they meet at 5 a.m. at a bodega in the dead of winter. It's absurd to think they become a thing, but once they discover more about each other, they turn to each other and things get properly complicated. Love that. Love when the romance is like, yeah, it's gonna be a romance, but it's also gonna be complicated, maybe toxic, maybe dramatic. And you know, I love a grumpy sunshine moment. Another Book of the Month add-on I got either last month or a couple months ago is Other People's Houses by Abby Waxman. And this is kind of a suburban drama about a woman who has just seen too many things in other people's houses. She's looked through too many windows, she knows too many secrets, and she just can't deal with it anymore. And she vows to just like stay in her lane, not get involved with anyone until she is the subject of such secrets and untoward events and her life bursts into flames. So it goes from there. Next up, I have Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose, and this was actually sent to me by Teresa. Thank you so much, Teresa, for sending this my way. She mentioned that she really likes it, so I'm hoping that I will too. And this is about a female killer. Y'all know that is right up my alley, so I'm super excited to get to this one. It's about a girl who does not want to find satisfaction from killing, but she can't help it. It's the only thing that calms her and has her waking up feeling sane, which is just giving me Girl in 6E vibes, and that is one of my favorite books of all time. So I don't know, I have high hopes for this one. I have a dark romance from K.A. Tucker. This is Keep Her Safe. And this book actually takes place in Austin as well. It says Noah Marshall has a privileged and comfortable life thanks to his mother, the highly decorated chief of the Austin Police Department. Fuck APD. Anyway, moving on. But all that changes the night that she reveals a skeleton that's been rattling in her closet for years and succumbs to the guilt of destroying an innocent family's life. Reeling with his own grief, Noah is forced to carry the burden of shocking secrets. And somehow he gets tangled up with this girl who is somehow involved or was affected by his mother's bad decisions. They have a horrible, toxic, dark romance. Also, Boba just woke up from her nap. I don't know if you can hear her. You probably can. She's really wanting to say hello. So here she is. Hi world. This is Boba. She's making a lot of noise. Next up, I have Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. I originally got this recommendation from my friend Jess from Books Past Bedtime. I absolutely love her. But this is basically like Stranger Things meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's a gang of kids who are not just any kids, they are witches. I believe that is the loose synopsis, but I've been told by multiple people, not just Jess, that I will really like this, so I hope I do. Next up, I have a couple books that were sent to me for review. Thank you so much, and if you're a publisher or an author who wants to send me your book, please email me. My email is down below. I'm very excited to review these for you guys. The first one is Mill Point Road by J.K. Elam. And this is the first book in a series. Allegedly, there is a lot of spoiled rich girl drama, suburban moms looking in each other's windows. And y'all know I love that shit. I will eat it up every time. So it says 5 women, 5 dark, sinister secrets, and 1 killer who knows them all. When Rebecca Cartwright, young and recently widowed, moves into the exclusive gated community Mill Point Road, She thought she had found her sanctuary, but the other women in Mill Point Road are hiding dark secrets. No one knows Rebecca is hiding her own secret, and it's the darkest and most sinister of all. This is giving me like the Mother Next Door vibes, and if this is a series that I like, can you imagine? Domestic drama, suburban thriller series that is like made for me. And I also have We Are the Light by Matthew Quick. Thank you so much to Simon and Schuster for sending this over. And this actually has stuff in here about Jungian therapy. So obviously, if you don't know, I am a therapist. That is my day job. This YouTube is my night job. So most of the day I am thinking about therapy, being a therapist, doing mental health things. And this has a Jungian therapist in this story. It's about a guy who is seeing his dead wife as a ghost every night, and he is also writing letters to his former Jungian analyst when a guy that the community has ostracized starts camping out in his backyard. An unlikely alliance takes shape, and the two of them embark on a journey for healing. It was pitched as being really similar to something like The Midnight Library, which was obviously one of my favorite books of last year, so I'm super looking forward to this one as well. Next up, we have the other two books that I literally ordered sitting at the bar with Matt because he had such great things to say about them. The first one is Anna K by Jenny Lee, and this is a love story. And this is like an opposites attract romance about this girl who always has it together. She's always kind of like head and shoulders above her peers until she meets a guy who's like rich and spectacular and just like takes her out of her element. And I'm just so excited for like Gossip Girl vibes. That is definitely what this is giving me. So because I have so much faith in Matt and him saying that I'm gonna like this, I went ahead and ordered the sequel, Anna K Away. It's the follow-up to the national bestseller, and I'm very excited to get into this. Also love the covers, the colors, the font, it's giving. Next up, I have The Last Party by Claire McIntosh. This is a whodunit about New Year's Eve. I believe it takes place at a New Year's Eve party. It says it's the party to end all parties, but not everyone is here to celebrate. And that tagline really got me. When the clock strikes midnight at this New Year's Eve party, someone will die. And the next morning, they are all suspects. Classic whodunit. We're trying to figure out who committed this murder at this party. And the last book I have to share with you guys is another thriller. We're ending on a classic Hailey note. I have The Familiar Dark by Amy Engel. This synopsis really reminds me of The Collective by Allison Galen, which I absolutely loved this year. So it makes me really excited to read it. This is following a woman with a traumatic past, and she's just gone through so much in her life. Her final tragedy that she's facing is her 12-year-old daughter being brutally murdered, and she's having to cope with that while she has no answers about who did this to her child. So it seems like nobody cares, and she takes the reins of the investigation. She will do whatever it takes to figure out what happened to her little girl. And with that, those are all of the books that I have hauled in the last couple months since my last haul. If you missed my last haul and you're wondering where you can watch it, I will link it right here and down below. I've posted quite a few hauls in the past year, so I have a whole playlist of them. If you like this video, go ahead and watch those. Also, don't forget to check out Skillshare down below. Again, the first 1,000 people get a free month. So gift it, get it for yourself, treat yourself, learn a new skill. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Go to therapy and read a book this week, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!